What I love about show business and what people don't like about show business, but I do, is it's an authoritative system. You have a dictator and everybody else. And that's how it works best, because you have one guy with his idea, his drive, his vision. Okay, let's all get behind this guy because it's good. Here we go. And you get behind him and you drive for him. He's the guy up front pulling us all.
This is Alec Baldwin, and you're listening to Here's the Thing from iHeart Radio. With more than 800 film and television credits to his name, Eric Roberts is one of the most prolific actors in Hollywood and one of the most misunderstood. Born into a family of actors and playwrights, Roberts grew up in Atlanta, Georgia. His parents co-founded one of the city's first integrated theater companies, the Atlanta Actors and Writers Workshop. From the age of 4, Roberts performed in repertory theater. His 2 younger sisters were also child actors, one of whom would go on to become one of the biggest movie stars in the world, Julia Roberts. Eric Roberts left home at 18 to move to New York City. Just a few years later, he was cast as the lead in Frank Pearson's 1978 film, King of the Gypsies. The performance earned Roberts his first Golden Globe nomination and made him an international star. He would go on to receive Golden Globe nominations for his performances in Bob Fosse's Star 80 and an Academy Award nomination for Andrei Konchalovsky's Runaway Train. In September 2024, Eric Roberts published his memoir, Runaway Train, or The Story of My Life So Far. I was curious what it was like growing up in a family where theater wasn't just a passion, but a way of life.
I got out of school. Actually, I didn't get asked back to school. ADA, the American Academy. I was in New York by this time. I didn't get asked back to be a senior, so I went across town and auditioned for the Actors Studio, got in, and so just dropped the American Academy out of my consciousness, went straight to the Actors Studio, got in, started working there, started having fun there, and then got my first movie very quickly and was very lucky. I became an international movie star at 22 years old.
It was King of the Gypsies.
Yeah. With Susan Sarandon played my mom, Judd Hirsch played my dad, Shelley Winters played my grandmother, Sterling Hayden played my grandfather, and Brooke Shields played my baby sister. And
oh my God.
30 years later, I played Brooke's husband in a movie.
Who directed King of the Gypsies?
Frank Pearson, the cool-ass Frank Pearson.
The Frank Pearson, who I love.
Yeah. He wrote Dog Day Afternoon. He won Oscars for Cat Ballou, all kinds of stuff.
So you go to the American Academy, and my brother Stephen wasn't invited back there, by the way, so he's in good company with you. But you go, and that's your first movie. How old were you?
I got the movie at 21. It came out when I was 22.
That was your first movie?
Yeah.
And you done plays before?
I grew up in repertory theater. I did my first play at 4. I did my first TV series at 8. But I was in repertory theater my whole life. I did 8 to 12 plays every year of my life up until I left home.
And the repertory theater was owned and managed by who?
By my dad and my mother. It's called the Actors and the Writers Workshop, and it was funded by the Martin Luther King Foundation. And we patterned it after Joe Papp's theater in that we toured the underprivileged areas all week. And then on the weekends, we had theater in our Central Park, which is called Piedmont Park. And we had theater, and we did 2 plays on Saturday, 2 plays on Sunday. And that was my life for, 15 years.
So it's safe to say you grew up in a show business family. This involved your other siblings as well? Were they all in the rep company?
Well, I'm a lot older than they are. I'm 11 years older than Julie. I'm 9 years older than Lisa. So I was already getting ready to leave home by the time they were cognizant. I changed a lot of diapers, but I didn't do a lot of plays with them.
Really?
Yeah.
Did they eventually do any? Were they involved in that work at all? No?
Oh, yeah, but only in the children's plays in the afternoon. And my father wrote a play called Little Lisa for my sister Lisa. It was all we knew, all we did. And I left home very young. I went to New York at 18.
And when you did the film with Frank, when you did the film with Pearson and that took off, what did that do for you? How did you feel about that burgeoning film stardom? Were you ready for it or you weren't?
Well, you're never ready for that because you can never really understand what it's going to be up till you're in it. What happens, as you know, Alec, when you get famous, you don't change. But everybody thinks you're going to or you're about to or you might, and everybody acts differently with you.
They
you're
change.
You're not the one who changes. Everybody around you treats you differently.
Right.
And it's so silly. And you say to them, this is so silly. It's not, but they don't understand. You have to be in it to understand it. It's the kind of thing that if you talk about, you sound like, woe is me. It's so hard to be famous. And you sound like a big asshole. So you can't do that. So you have to avoid that. But everybody does treat you differently. It is not you who changed with the stardom. It is the world around you, how it adheres to you, how it likes you, how it does that thing it does to stars. And it's very silly and very overstated. And what you just have to do is just ignore it.
I made a couple of movies, mostly supporting roles in films in the late 80s, and I always mention that I did a play, Prelude to a Kiss, off-Broadway with Mary Louise Parker, and we got a very, very love letter from Frank Rich back when that really mattered. And the point is that I went through my career and I relied on these instincts that I thought were good instincts, and they were very decent instincts. And then all of a sudden, when Prelude moved to Broadway, and I didn't go with the show, and Tim Hutton did the show on Broadway, and I went to go do a movie to make a lot of money, that's when I ignored my instincts and everything went wrong from there. For me, the instincts that got me somewhere, I started to abandon those because all of a sudden you have something to protect.
No, but I would disagree with you, Alec. It didn't go wrong from there. You've had a great career. You've done some really awesome work. That's just a fact.
But when you do King of the Gypsies, does everything start to get more precious and everyone's telling you, you can't do that, you got to do this.
Oh,
you have something to lose.
Oh, yeah, I was told. Now, the reason I work so much now is to make up really for lost time, because back in those days, everything was so precious, supposedly. So precious. And stuff like Breaking Away, for instance, was the first big movie that he had me turn down because, yes, Eric, it's going to be a hit. Yes, you're going to be a star, but you're going to be an adolescent star, and they're going to have to overcome that. We want you to be an adult star.
Who's telling you this?
Bill Tresh, my manager. Okay. So we'll have another hurdle to get over. If we make you an adolescent star, we have to make you an adult star. So you must turn down Breaking Away. I didn't want to, but I did because he's smarter than me. I thought about the industry, so he knows what to do and what not to do. So I did what he suggested. But I did that with dozens and dozens of movies. So all it really ended up being was I was not employed. I was just waiting for some perfect piece or something.
So what's the next thing you did after King of the Gypsies?
After King of the Gypsies, I went back to the theater and I did Mass Appeal with Milo O'Shea. I did...
on Broadway?
Yeah. But yeah, I went back to the theater and, I did Paul's Case for the American Short Story series. That's right. Mm-hmm. Everybody fought me over that. I really wanted to do that piece, and Bill and everybody else thought it was not worthy of me. But I did it because I wanted to. And then I got the nicest review in the New York Times. It had a little picture of me on the back page, and it said, "The perfect Paul, Eric Roberts, King of the Gypsies, was no fluke." That's my proudest interview I ever got.
What was the next movie?
The next movie would have been Raggedy Man with Sissy Spacek. And Jack Fisk, her husband, was the director. That was a glorious piece. Sissy got to play a single working mother back in the 40s. And I'm a sailor who blows through town and leaves her with a kiss and makes her friends with her sons. And it's just a wonderful, wonderful story. And that's when I met Sam Shepard for the first time. He and I ended up making 4 movies together, but that was our first time. And we made fast friends. Sam was a cool guy to work with, and I miss him.
How far away are we from Pope?
Pope was my 5th or 6th film, yeah. So there was Raggedy Man, then some TV stuff, then Star 80, and then Pope.
Star 80 was before Pope.
Oh, yeah. I was 25 when I did Star 80.
I tell people that in order to play a role like that, of her husband, of Paul, if you said to me, give me the 25 top performances by a male actor of the last 75 years inhabiting a really serious dramatic role, you're on that list.
Wow, thanks.
I mean, that performance in that movie, no apologies, no pulling your punches. You play him as determined and as self-seeking and as driven, not reading the room very well, not a lot of self-awareness, but those scenes when you're there at the mansion and all that stuff, you're dying for this guy. You're dying. You're looking at him. You're looking at the TV going, oh, Paul, don't do that. If you don't do that, maybe this will work. And you just see you playing this character who believes he has everything. Who wouldn't want me? Who wouldn't want to be in business with me? Who wouldn't want to fuck me? Everybody wants to be me or be with me. But you play it not in a loud, but in the most nuanced way. That is one of the greatest performances I've ever seen in my life.
Oh, wow, brother. Thank you so much. But let me tell you why it is. It's not me. I am the instrument. I am the vessel. But it was all Bob Fosse. He wrote an incredible screenplay, and then we shot all the stuff up in Vancouver, and we come down to L.A. We shot in Vancouver for a month. We're down in L.A. now. We had 2 days off in between. I'm living at Paul Jabara's house, which is a great big mansion. Anyway, in the middle of the night, suddenly somebody's banging on my door. Paul Jabara has some weird living he does, so I think it could be anything at the door. So I grab a hammer. There's construction in the house, there are tools out. I grab a hammer and I go answer the door. What the fuck? And it's Bob Fosse. He's got a little portable typewriter. And he says, how you doing? I said, I'm sleeping. He said, well, we have to work. I said, okay, come on in. He comes in. He says, I type, you dance. I said, okay. And that's his expression for he types, I improv. I type, you dance. So it was the middle of the fucking night. Okay, I guess we do that. And so he started doing that to me. He would come over every day after work, and he'd type, I'd dance, and he would work, and he would rewrite. And I also got from him the most personal note from a director I ever got. I'm doing a scene one day with my guitar, and I mess up the song, and I said, cut. Well, you don't say cut on a Fosse set unless you're Fosse. And he goes, what are you doing? I said, I fucked up. He goes, God damn it, come here. And he walks across that big soundstage at Zoetrope, the big one. He walks across it. He goes, come here. And I'm in my underwear, and I got the crew behind me, and I got a guitar, and I walk over there. What? He goes, look at me. I said, I'm looking at you. Look at me. I'm looking at you, dude. He goes, okay. You're playing me if I weren't successful. Do you understand? And I did. And I really did. So I started imitating even how he walked on the way back to the set at that moment. I basically played him in that movie, even though it was somebody else.
Now, Marielle, I would imagine with Fosse, some of the women in his projects suffer a great deal. Did she have a tough time on that film? Did he direct her heavily as well?
Let me tell you one quick story that won't hurt her feelings. I'm crazy about her, by the way, as a person and an actor. But here's the deal. So we're like shooting maybe 2-3 days, and we're in Vancouver. And he says to her, get your voice out of your face. I want it coming from your chest. You sound, and he kind of imitated her, kind of made fun of her. And she started crying. Okay, well, when a woman cries on a set, the makeup runs, they got to get up and go. So she gets some, so it held up like 2 hours. And he says to me, quote, she can't take it. I hope you can. And that was all that was ever said about it. That was all that was ever said. But yeah, he was a passionate lunatic. And when he was on to something, he wanted you right with him. And if you weren't, he would drag you by the hair. It's an overused and abused word, but he was a genius. And once you work with a real genius, 2 things, that you're not one and that they're hard to find. And man, he was the most special thing in my life I ever had that I didn't expect.
Now, there aren't many movies I've ever done where I'll watch a movie and I'll go, my God, who is that? I tried to become someone else, dispositionally and attitudinally and everything and emotionally. When you saw Star 80, did you freak out? Could you sit there and go, oh my God, who is that guy? Who is that guy?
It's the same feeling when you watch a project that you hit. It's like hitting a ball perfectly. It's like, yep, that's it.
Wow. Now, when you do that movie, I was always explaining to people who don't work in this business, I said, you've got to pick up where you left off. If I don't see an actor for 5 years and I run into them at a film festival, we're hugging like I saw you last week. Yeah. I said, it's very peripatetic. We're all on the go. We're all moving around. But if I had a good experience with you when I see you, I keep in touch with some people, and a lot of them, obviously, I don't. Did you stay in touch with him at all, or was it out of sight, out of mind for him?
Well, he was discussing, he wanted me in his next movie. And it was maybe going to be about the Kennedy guy who got shot in the face up in Harlem. He had talked to me about it, and he was working on it. And so I waited about 8 months after he died, and I called Gwen. And I said, Gwen, he was working on the piece, blah, blah, and he talked to me about it. Can I see it? And she said, let's just let it be. Oh, I was heartbroken. That's that. And
I would have thought if you were age appropriate, he would have put you in every movie. You could have done all that jazz, but you were too young. I love all that jazz. I love it.
It's a great movie. I know. Cabaret is great. Yeah.
I love all Bob stuff.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, he made perfect movies. Yeah.
No, so then when you do Pope, the director is who?
We had two directors. We had one director who got fired, and we had Stuart Rosenberg, who ended up really directing the film. But at first, it was this. I got that script in January of that year. We're not shooting until September. I get a script in January. Back in the old days when you get warnings, I got the script in January, and I got the book and the script from Koch and Kirkwood, and it said, pick a part, Paulie or Charlie. So I read the book, I read the script, I read the book again, and I decide I'm going to pick Paulie, but I'm going to play him differently, so I have to ask because it's not on the page. So I call Koch and Kirkwood and say, hey guys, I picked Paulie. And they said, why? I said, because he's a fun-ass part, and I want to play him, but I want to be allowed to play him as he is not on the page. I've talked to you guys. They go, okay, but we wanted you to pick Charlie, and we thought you would because he's the leading man, he's cool, he gets dressed up, he's got the babe, blah, blah. We thought you'd pick him. I said, no, he's a good part, but I like Paulie because he's better if I can be allowed to play him like this. He is written as a tough, dumb thug. That's been done 10 billion times by 10 billion actors. Even I've done it 85 times. Can I do something else? I want to play a mama's boy who wants to be this guy, but is not this guy. Looks up to Charlie because he sees Charlie as this guy. I want to be that. And they said, whatever you do, Eric, you do it because we're hiring you because it's you. So whatever you do, we're behind you. I said, okay. So that was January. February, March, April, May, June, July, August. I'm dieting. I dropped 30 pounds and I perm my hair. I learned my script from back to front. I'm ready to go. I show up ready to go. And we have 5 days of rehearsal and we start to shoot. We're all staying at the Mayflower Hotel in Manhattan. I'm living in Westport, Connecticut at the time, next door to Chris Walken. After the third day of rehearsal, the director asked me to stay after to talk to him. Okay, I do. What's up, dude? Why are you so skinny? I said, well, that's this guy. I want to be a walking spaz attack. He goes, why'd you perm your hair? I said, same thing, walking spaz attack. And then he gets angry. What the fuck is a walking spaz attack?
It's going well.
I said, John Belushi, only skinny. He goes, no, that's not this guy. This guy's a tough thug. This guy is tough and stupid, blah, blah, blah. I said, no, that's how he's written. That's not what I'm playing. And I told the producers, and I thought they would tell you. But yeah, they gave me the go-ahead to not play what's on the page. He said, well, I don't agree with them. I don't agree with you, and I'd like you to resign. I said, well, I'm not doing that, but I say to him, let me think about it. And I go up to
Good answer.
I go up to Mickey's room, knock on the door, and say, Mickey, the boss just asked me to quit. He said, what? So we called the producers, and they fired that director, and they brought in Stuart Rosenberg, who directed a great movie.
You're one and only with Mickey?
Mickey and I have worked together now, 4 times, 5 times. Our other big thing was he plays a speed dealer, and I play his boss who sells him the speed. Now, when they offer me that part, that's also another character change. They call me, we're going to hook you up with Mickey Rourke. Cool. I love Mickey. Great. What's the part? Blah, they send me the script. I love the script. But he's a tough guy, and he has his body exposed, and he has all these girls, and he sells Mickey speed, and he's all cool and all this stuff, and all cliche.
Debauched.
Yeah, and I said, you know what? That's been done a lot, too. Can I play him the opposite? Can I play a screaming queen with boys? And they said yes. Oh, it was called Spun, S-P-U-N.
I'm watching it tonight.
It's called Spun.
It's in my basket tonight.
And this cool Swedish director. And he said, Eric, of course, I love the idea. Very good, very good. Jonas Ackerlund. Mickey has the best death scene of any of us guys who play bad guys in the history of motion pictures. Wait till you see it.
I'll have to watch that. That's a big thing. That's a big
I'm
thing
not
to
going
say.
to even give you a hint. It is so moving, and it is so immediate. Oh, it's so good.
You eventually go on. What year did you do Runaway Train?
1985.
And it's by and large, I don't remember every frame of the film. Great film. I always tell people you got to watch. If you want to watch a smart and intense and well-shot, well-edited film, it's essentially a two-hander. Now, they hired him first or you first?
They hire him first, and then they bring in John and I, and we meet him. And we have a great lunch talking about stuff, each other, and how much we love each other's work, all that stuff everybody does, when they get together. And then I say to him the same thing I said to the Pope people. This guy's kind of cliche because he's in jail for statutory rape. So I want to make him not gross. I want to even make him not necessarily a man. I want to even change his voice so it's up high, so he's not like a threat. And if he's country, everybody think he's stupid, so, they have to talk about his education. So I asked him if I could do that. He said, Ed, you can do anything you want. But he's Russian. He couldn't hear the accent. He didn't know.
You didn't know what the fuck you were doing.
I know. But he allowed it. And Jon Voight is one of my 3 favorite actors I've ever worked with. Oh, my God. We never came out of character to each other. We lived in those characters for the whole shoot, and we just did it. And it was just satisfying.
Where did you shoot, though?
We're supposed to shoot in Montana. And we get to Montana, the whole cast, the whole crew, and it thaws. Where's the snow? Uh-oh. Yeah. So the producers, Golden Globus, they'd say, well, let's go to Alaska. It takes place in Alaska. We shoot in Alaska. So we moved to Anchorage, and they got 40 miles of track. That was just our track, 40 miles back and forth. And we shot a movie.
John, who I've begged to do this show. And I told him when I ran into him, I said, listen, I don't want to talk about politics. I don't give a shit about your politics or whatever. I said, I am, your great admirer. And when he popped up on Ray Donovan and was just completely knocked out by how great John is at this stage of his career. I mean, he was what a fox.
John is a mega talent. John is a mega talent. Look at his list of movies.
Oh, my God.
Coming Home, all those, oh my God.
Cowboy,
Midnight
Deliverance.
Cowboy. I know, dude, it's endless. And he's always great.
Always.
I know. And we never talked politics. We never came out of character, either of us. Right. We stayed in character from start to finish.
Actor Eric Roberts. If you enjoy conversations with acclaimed stars of the stage and screen, check out my episode with the legendary Laurie Metcalf.
Greta sent me the script, and I read it and really responded to the material. And it was a very small independent movie, and so I thought, well, I haven't done a movie in about 10 years, so this will be a nice little way to put my toe back in the water and see how it is. When Lady Bird exploded, I was unprepared for. I had no idea what that publicity circus train was that you have to get on, and ride for about 3 months.
To hear more of my conversation with Laurie Metcalf, go to here'sthething.org. After the break, Eric Roberts tells the story of Bob Fosse showing up at his door in the middle of the night with a typewriter. I'm Alec Baldwin, and this is Here's the Thing. Eric Roberts has always been deeply committed to his preparation as an actor. From his days studying at the Royal Academy in London to working with some of the most sought-after directors in Hollywood, Roberts has developed a meticulous approach to building characters from the ground up. With diverse roles in films like King of the Gypsies, Star 80, Pope of Greenwich Village, and Runaway Train, I wanted to know whether his instinct to stray from what's written on the page has served him well across 5 decades of filmmaking.
I'm old school. I'm like you. I'm old school. I do mountains of homework. I live for my time at my desk. That's the most precious time I have besides my time alone with my wife, is my time at my desk with homework. Those 2 things are my joys in life. I get a bunch of choices and stuff. I do my thing. I'm going to go this way, go this way. And then I say to my director, what do you want to see? And he'll tell me, and I'll take what he wants and I will try to fit it into what I've done and then present it all. Because he's the boss. And see, what I love about show business and what people don't like about show business, but I do, is it's an authoritative system. You have a dictator and everybody else. And that's how it works best, because you have one guy with his idea, his drive, his vision. Okay, let's all get behind this guy because it's good. Here we go. And you get behind him and you drive for him. He's the guy up front pulling us all.
Yeah. As I'm working now in films, by the time they get the funding together, and they're really ready to give you a plane ticket and send you there, it's Thursday, and they say you're on a plane Friday, and Saturday's your wardrobe fitting. It's so different from what it used to be. No rehearsals, a lot of time no rehearsals. What I want to talk to you about is then and now. You made great films. You gave historic performances in movies. But when you show up on the set with a director who, you've made more movies than everybody on the whole fucking crew combined. What's it like for you now to do that? What do you do?
That's not a conscious thought, really. It's all the same process. It's just I have less time now. As you pointed out, we have no time. So I arrive with my same question every day. Hi, how you doing? Okay, what do you want to see, boss? I always call them boss to establish they are my boss. I let them boss me around. I let them tell me what to do. Now, I have my idea of what I'm going to do, but I let them pull it in the direction that they want it. And usually they thank me.
Right.
Sometimes they don't, but usually they do.
Yeah, no, it's funny you say that because I had one guy I worked with on a film over in London, and they had whatever the financing was where we had to run over to London and shoot this for a week. And it was one of these tech thrillers, and I'm the CIA boss screaming at everybody. But the director was really interesting because he wanted to direct. And he was really this very boisterous. He was this big Icelandic guy or Norwegian guy. I forget where he was from. Lovely guy. But as soon as we were on the set, he was very gentlemanly. He was very solicitous. He said, I would love for you to do my film. I met with him. I talked to him. Finally, when we're there and we're making the film, he was like, okay, everybody. He was really like booming. Oh, do this, do that. And I thought, my God, I haven't been around that in a while. I'm usually around guys who were talking to the DP and talking to the lighting people and look at video playback, and they don't have a fucking word to say to me. They think I'm good. They're like, you do what you do. We hired you to do what you do. You figure it out. And I like to be directed. Do you like to be directed?
I love to be told what to do.
Me too.
Ask my wife. That's how we're trained to be able to do whatever they want. We're not trained to do what we want to do. We're trained to do whatever they need. And it's a great feeling. I love to be told what to do. Yes.
Now, I want you to know that I was going to do a film once, which was the most macabre and strange and insane movie. And I was actually kind of excited to do it, but it didn't work out. And then the director rewrote the film and did a gender reversal. All the men were gone. He wanted me to play a doctor who gives my wife cancer. I inject her with cancer cells to watch her die, and I masturbate to her dying, decomposing. But I thought, this guy's the most fucked up guy. Tom Six, he did the show.
When you find yourself in those kind of hands, what I do is I completely give over to them. Okay, I am here for them. So whatever weirdness that they're going to take me, have me present, I'm going to do well. What do you want to see? What are you looking for? And I let them tell me, and I go deliver for them. Sometimes it's a head turner. Sometimes you're like, okay, well, I wouldn't have thought of that, but okay, But we work for them.
Yeah.
So,
Talk about actors then and now. When you're working now and you're doing films with younger, less experienced actors, you think actors are different today than they were 30 years ago?
Well, yeah, sure they are. It was a vocation 30 years ago. It's like a moment now. It's like, I'm going to be famous. It's not like I'm going to do this and it's going to make me famous, but I'm doing this. Mm-hmm. And this makes me famous, but I'm not in this to be famous. I'm in this to do this.
Or I'll do a sequence of things.
Right.
And build my way up, yeah.
Right, yeah. I'm sure every generation has some kind of version of this, but the younger guys have gotten lazy. They don't want to work. They just want to be famous. And, me too, but I love the work.
Now, when you make films, for me, I have my example of this. My example is Mission Impossible. You go along and you're doing small films. I was joking with people. I'd say, I do an independent film, and the entire budget of the film was a budget for gum on the set of Mission Impossible. And I said, the reason that was always tough. Then I go on the set of Mission and I go, oh, God, I remember this. Big movies, big budget. So when you show up on Nolan's set to do Dark Knight, what was that like for you?
Well, if you're a movie geek, which I am, it was even more than you're asking about, because it was this. We shot all the Chicago stuff in Chicago, and then all the other stuff we're gonna shoot at Pinewood. Okay, we've all shot Pinewood. We all know what it's like. But we get there, that was a lie. We're not shooting Pinewood. It's a secret because we're hiding from the press. Okay, so where are we? We're at the old Zeppelin hangar 30 miles north. Go there. So we go to the old Zeppelin hangar. We walk in. It's about 3 football fields wide, about 3 stories tall. And you walk in, and it's all Gotham City. It is so cool. And if you are a movie geek, which I am, it's heaven, man. It's heaven. Yeah. And me and Gary Oldman would play all day long when we weren't on camera. It was just so much fun, dude, to be there. And it was like a dream. It was like a movie about a movie. It was like we weren't even working. We were making a movie about a movie, even though we weren't. It was heaven.
So Nolan, what is a director of his ilk, the modern blockbuster director? What was he like to work with?
Really sweet, a perfect gentleman. His wife, Emma, is kind of the boss. And she says things like, all right, moving on, Christopher. But he gave me my favorite note I ever got from a director. We're doing this big party scene, and I have the last line, and it's kind of a closing line, ba-boom. And I say it. Cut. Dead silence. On the megaphone, Eric Roberts, don't be funny. Another take. Now, I'm not known to be funny, so that was my favorite note I ever got.
God. To be on those sets, they asked me, what's it like to work with Cruise? And of course, everybody says the same thing, but it happens to be true, which is he's just the hardest working guy you've ever met in your life. And he's all about work. We come to work, he wants to talk, he wants to have he knows the perfect timing. It's 10 minutes of good morning and hi and give you a hug and let's get a coffee. Then we're going to get into rehearsal in the next 20. And it's all the same every day, pretty much managed by him and Chris. But man, was it a joy to work with him. Because they took their time. You know, they didn't luxuriate in time, but they whenever they paused and decided that something wasn't working and they needed a change or some amendment to the text or whatever, it was with a purpose. They weren't just jerking off, you know what I mean? And God, when I did Mission, I had 2 small parts in Mission, and it was the time of my life to work with Tom.
Well, Tom Cruise is so famous that he gets undermined. He is so talented, he is so handsome, and he's so famous that everybody wants to take something away from him.
Sure.
But he's one of our permanent greats forever, dude.
Oh, yeah, forever.
Yeah.
Forever. Actor Eric Roberts. If you're enjoying this conversation, tell a friend. And be sure to follow Here's the Thing on the iHeart Radio app, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. When we come back, Eric Roberts discusses why his role on HBO's The Righteous Gemstones was one of the best jobs of his entire career. I'm Alec Baldwin, and this is Here's the Thing. Eric Roberts is many things. An Oscar-nominated actor, a stage veteran, a memoir writer, and recently a contestant on ABC's Dancing with the Stars. Roberts says he joined the cast because it's his wife's favorite television show. Having recently watched my wife perform on the latest season, I wanted to know what Roberts' experience was like performing on Dancing with the Stars.
I am not a dancer, Alec. But, you know, I had this incredible partner, Britt. She was so good to me. And, I fell over my 4 feet and tried to get through it. I didn't do very well. I think I lasted 4 cuts. My wife is a fan of the show. She's a huge fan of the show, and she loved your wife on the show. She went nuts for your wife. She thinks your wife is maybe the most beautiful woman on the planet, and will say so to everybody.
I would agree, yeah. But I'll tell you, my wife went there, and you realize pretty quickly that she's bringing to the event what the pros bring. So it's like, where's the drama? You know, she comes in, she nails it, she goes home. She comes in, she nails it, she goes home. And she only lasted 4 cuts, and they sent her home, and she was very despondent about that because it's not a dance competition, it's a TV show. I mean, Andy Richter lasted longer than my wife did on Dancing with the Stars, which tells you everything you need to know. I got 2 more questions for you. Now, one is, one of the more recent things I was told, what we read, you said was one of the best experiences you've had in your career was Righteous Gemstones. Talk about that.
Man.
What part did you play?
I played a guy named Junior, who was an ex-partner of our lead when they would promote wrestling. But here's what happened. That was an open call. So my wife and I shot an at-home audition, and we sent it in. And I got the part like that day. He called me, yeah, well, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, you're it. We got you. Okay. It was the best scripts, the most fun character, the best actors to work with, the best location, everything was perfect. I have never had a job I liked any more than Righteous Gemstones. I had so much fun making that show, and those people are all geniuses. The actors are great. The writer-directors are great. I just loved everybody. I can't say enough nice things about that because I was allowed to play this really effed up guy completely and three-dimensionally, and they were just so
If
good.
the show's right, if the tone of the show is right, you can have a ball like that.
Oh, yeah. And it was
have a
perfect
ball.
because of them. And they invited me in for a season. It was such a pleasure.
I love John.
Yeah,
love
that's
John.
my favorite
Love
job
John.
I ever had.
That's amazing. That's amazing. What's something that you haven't done? Now, you've done a lot of movies and TV, a lot of things on film, a lot of theater in your youth, so forth. Is there something that you haven't done you wish you're looking forward to doing one day, maybe?
There sure is, man. I'd like to play Nureyev after he stopped dancing.
Is somebody writing something for you?
No, it was talked about years ago. This person came to me from Russia and said, how'd you like to play Nureyev? I said, I don't have those legs and I can't dance, so we can't do any dancing part of his life.
no dancing. No dancing.
But yeah, I mean, he's a fascinating guy in a fascinating time, and he was gay when it was against the law to be homosexual. So yeah, I'd be interested in that, but that went away. But I did a bunch of homework then in the interim, and I really know the guy now, and I really want to play him. And he needs to be played because he broke ranks with everybody, everything there was. But he maintained who he was, and his talent was beyond recognition. He was a one of a kind, and he died alone, dude. He died very much
Did he
alone.
really?
Yeah,
Did he really? Well, I know he had AIDS, but...
Yeah, he was a gay Russian with AIDS. How marginalized can you make yourself?
Right,
And,
right back then.
Yeah.
Back then.
Yeah, right.
But there's nothing moving forward with that now.
That I know of, no.
Let me tell you something, pal. You are a great, great fucking actor. And you're enough. And every one of these movies, all of these 10,000 fucking movies you make a year, they're lucky to have you. They're lucky to have you. They are. They're lucky to have you.
I will tell them you said so.
My thanks to actor Eric Roberts. This episode was recorded at CDM Studios in New York City. We're produced by Kathleen Russo, Zach McNeese, and Victoria DeMartin. Our engineer is Isaac Kaplan-Woolner. I'm Alec Baldwin. Here's the Thing is brought to you by iHeart Radio.